let's carry on. This is Motorcycle Junkie, and yesterday we were rained off. It's not looking too promising today either, but we are going to carry on. See if we can get this top end finished off. Right, what do I need? Do I need spanner? Yeah, I've got to set this engine to top dead centre. I was turning it yesterday. Oh, it is 17. Why didn't that 17 spanner fit then? Right, let's turn this screen round so I can see what you can see in a fashion. Yeah, anyway, as I was saying, we need to set this top dead centre. Now the marks on the flywheel are really not clear, so I'm going to do it with where I think it should be, which is about there, and then I'm going to confirm it by very carefully putting a screwdriver. If you're going to do this, don't do it with a screwdriver, do it with a bit of wood or something. Right, I think that is top dead centre. It says line the marks up on the crankcase, but what it doesn't make clear is where you line the marks up. I can see the T mark for top dead centre, but it's not abundantly clear what you line that mark up with. Actually, I'll tell you what we could do. Yeah, I could back these two bolts out here and just physically look at the piston. Why I didn't do that when I had before I put the head on, I don't know, because I'm an amateur. And then when I've done that, I shall line it up with top dead centre by physically looking at the piston, and then I will see on the flywheel exactly what the T mark does line up with, so at least for future reference I will know. I'm going to set that all the way off. Okay. Right. The head's lifting. Right, that is top dead centre. Now what's that lining up with? Right. Now where is that T mark? So I can't even see it. T. Is it that? Ah, so it will be, there's like a little cutout just here. Now that, I'll try and show you. I think it's that little cutout, but you see it could have been lining up with that or that. but I suppose that little cutout, when you think about it, yeah, it's kind of obvious. So yeah, it's that is hopefully now top dead centre. Absolutely double checking. Right, so yeah, we are at top dead centre. Now the question you might ask, and the reason you might ask it is because I asked it myself to myself, is that how do you know that that is top dead centre on the compression stroke, which it needs to be, and not on the exhaust stroke. Now on some engines that matters, but on these engines they are what I believe they call a wasted spark engine. In other words, every time that engine comes to the top of its stroke, it fires a spark, regardless of whether that's on its compression or its exhaust. If it's on its exhaust, that spark is wasted, it's doing nothing because it's not needed. It's just easier to build it that way rather than trying to figure out how to make it only spark on the compression stroke. So because the cam is off and it fires on every stroke anyway, I can now set the cam accordingly in that position. That's going to be the next job. So I've not stripped this this cam carrier because I don't feel I need to. On there you will see, hang on, let's get you in focus, just there it says EX, that's exhaust, so that needs to face down. I don't think you can get it wrong anyway because it fits over these collet spacer things. Hang on. Look at that bloody thing. Hang on. Just fucking hold ye horses. I've got to get the cam on first, you daft twat. When I make fuck ups like this, I deliberately do not edit them out, because what I'm trying not to do is make myself look like an expert, and I'm thinking I'm making a bloody good job of not becoming an expert. Because, yeah, because this is just me fucking about, you know. I'm not a mechanic. This is just same as any guy would be fucking around trying to fix his bike. I'm not trying to make a tutorial. I'm not saying this is how you do it. I'm saying this is me fucking about, making mistakes. Okay, let me try and get you in on this because it's quite important. Now, with that set at top dead centre, I'll zoom you in, we've got to get this big hole here pointing up and then the other two level. Now as you can see, that's not level, so I need to rotate that chain round, I would say one link. So how can I do that? There's not an awful lot of give in this chain, even though, did I turn that? Even though the cam tensioner isn't fitted at the minute, there's still not an awful lot of give. Okay, now I reckon that is bang on. So it's top dead centre, that hole to the top, those two holes parallel to each other. So I think we can go ahead and do what we were just trying to do. Oh, here it is. So, as previously mentioned, EX to the bottom. Jiggle it in place. That's not seating on, and I don't want to force it, so why is that not seating on? Move it again. Probably didn't have that camshaft properly aligned up. Come on, get on. I think I have now. Yeah, that's seated on nicely now. Right, let me get the nuts and bolts for that. If you do this, this is me speaking from experience here. If you do this and you've got a load of nuts and bolts left over, you've done something wrong. Oh dear. Yes, that's me speaking from experience. Or lack of. So it's very important that we get this torqued up correctly, which I will do on camera. I've seen too many videos where guys say, right, yeah, I'll put them on, I'll torque them up later, and you think, yeah, but did they really go and torque them up? Or is that just me being cynical? Me cynical? That. Right, what I am going to do off camera, I'm going to torque them. No, I'm joking. Let me get a spanner. Or even a socket, maybe. So I'm not tightening these. I'm just nipping these down to the end with the right bloody socket would be useful, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm just snugging these down. So we go opposite, 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 opposite. As you can see, no pressure, I've just snugged them down, that's all I've done. So what I'm going to do now, they don't actually feel bad, the camshaft, the clearances rather. What I'm going to do now is rotate the whole engine through a couple of cycles just to make sure that everything's moving in the way that it should. Nothing's hitting. Okay, I'm happy with that. No horrible noises. Right, now I'm going to reset that at top dead centre. Now that I know how to do it. Can't see anything because of the bloody sun. Right, there it is. So that should be top dead centre, which means both of those tappets should be loose, which they are. Good, good. Right, next job is to torque all this down properly. I'm going to go and look up the torque specs, then we'll come back and do that on camera. Right, we're back. The manual actually gives the dimensions, gives the torque spec in kilogram meters. My torque wrench only goes in Newton meters. So I've had to do a little bit of converting. Turns out it's 19.6 Newton meters. So I don't know if this is going to come out, but that is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.6. So I'm going to have to guess here. That's 19. That's 20. So we just back off a little bit because it doesn't go down to that detail. So that's 19.6. Now if I tighten that bottom up, okay, hey, hang on, let me get this, guys. Okay, right, wifey does have this habit of gate crashing my videos. She does it personally here, or if she's not here she rings me. So it is set to 19.6, but I'm not going to go straight in, so I am just going to give them a quarter of a turn each. I could set it to a lower value like 12 or something and then torque them up at 12, but the manual doesn't tell you to do that, so I'll just do it this way. The engine is moving about a bit because it's sitting on an old cheapo version of a Black & Decker workmate. So I am just going cross ahead, cross diagonally across the bolts. I do make sense sometimes. So it's sometimes scary waiting for that click and you think, well, hell, this seems tight. Click, you bastard, click. There we go. Bottom one. Two of them, 2 out of 4, 3 out of 4, and we'll just go around them again. Okay, all torqued down. These little 8mm studs here at the bottom, the torque setting for those is 10.7. So once again we'll wind back. Oh, hang on, I've got it locked off. So it starts at 10, this torque wrench, so 10 point, I'm going to go 10.1. It says 10.7, but I can't get it that accurate. I don't think 10.7 is going to break anything. So off we go again then. We'll torque these down, and they have come quite loose. I did only nip them up, but we've done the head now as well, so it's pulled it down a bit further. Let me get round the other side of you, I can just work it easier that way. There we go for that one. And there we go for that one. Now what I am going to do again, because I've pulled those second head bolts down, I'm just going to run round these and check them again, which was, what was it, 19.7. So that's 20. No, that's not 20. That's 20. It's about there. So yeah, we're just going to double check these. They should be about right. I can't do it from that side. You guys are in my way. I don't know, just step aside. That's good. Let's go opposite. Good. 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 Happy with that. I am just going to rotate that engine a couple of times again, just to make sure everything's hunky-dory. Good, yep, that's fine. Right, let me set it at top dead centre once more. Okay, that is top dead centre. Now I know how to do it. But it's not. It's 180 out, which is now relevant because we've got the cam on. So we rotate that through 180. Okay, and that's good there. Okay, and we are at proper top dead centre. That's in line, that holds at the top. We can now go ahead and adjust the tappets, which, let me have a tidy up of the tools. We'll switch the camera back on and get the tappets adjusted. We also need to get the cam chain tensioner on as well. Right, tappets. Are they called tappets? Or am I old school? Is that something that's from the 70s? Yeah, they're called tappets, aren't they? I think the tappet clearance, anyway, for both exhaust and intake is 0.4 to start again, 0.04 to 0.06. So the one I've got there, smack bang in the middle at 0.05. Now I did adjust these prior to taking it apart, but obviously it's been apart, but I don't expect them to be too far out. That one is a little tight, so we'll just back that off a little. So we want to adjust it so there's just a little bit of drag, which is about there. And then we try and hold the top still while we tighten the lock nut. Now what often happens here is that as you're tightening it, it moves, so always check it again after the adjustment. And I'm very happy with that. So same thing at the bottom. Let's just check it before we actually touch anything. And that is a little tight, so we just back that nut off slightly. It's actually quite tight, that one. Okay, that seems about right. So same procedure, hold that still while we lock the nut off. And check again. Yeah, happy with that. So that's the tappets adjusted. They're not called tappets, are they? Are they called tappets? Valve clearances. Valve clearances, that's the word I'm looking for. That's the valve clearances done. I knew there was another posh word for it. Right, the next thing to do, let me dig out the cam chain tensioner, see where I've put that. Right, found it. This is the cam chain tensioner. I'll show you exactly how that works, but before I do, off camera, it's got loads of old cruddy gasket on there. We've got a new gasket for that, so let me get that cleaned up, then we'll turn the camera back on. Right, are we recording? I can't see a fucking thing with this sun shining on it. Anyway, yeah, I think we are. I've cleaned that up, look, we've got that nice and clean, sanded up, all the old gasket removed. I'll show you briefly how these work. Most of you know anyway, so just skip forward if you don't. Right, in there is that that plastic thing that the belt rides on, this thing here, basically. Now that is riding on top of this cam chain, so if we put pressure on top of that, then it will press on the chain and tension it, and that's how these things work. Now what we've got here is a spring-loaded pin, if you like, on there. Now if we put a screwdriver in there and wind it in, you will see that that's going inwards and then all the way to the end, and it locks. Oh, I don't know who the fuck that is, they can wait. Yeah, so hang on, just one moment. Looks like fucking junk anyway. Sorry about that. Yeah, as I say, it locks in. Now when I pop that into the engine like that, I'll put the screwdriver back into there, turn it, and then that pops out, and that holds the tension on the chain permanently. So, new gasket. and then we will set that, pop it in, no idea what I've done with the bolts for it, mind you. Let me find them, just a sec. Right, no idea what I've done with the nuts and bolts of that, but I have got a couple out my stash which will do the job. There's probably a torque spec setting for these as well, but I can't be bothered to look it up. I'll do it later. You know damn well I won't, don't you? No, I can't see that it's that important. I'm sure someone will let me know if it is. If the proper nuts and bolts turn up for this, I shall replace them. If they don't, that will do the job perfectly. Okay, now I'm going to release that tension and make that spring-loaded thing pop down. There we go. And that has placed the tension on the chain. And then on top of that, just to seal it all up and just keep the shite out, there's a little O-ring which is already in there, and then this covering nut. Right. Okay, right, that's good. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to fill it with oil where it is. Or should I do it later? Now what I want to do is spin the engine over with an electric drill, just to make sure we're getting an oil feed up to the top of this camshaft. Because given the fact that that appeared to have burnt out and got hot, I just want to make sure that we are getting an oil feed. So I'm going to chuck some cheap shit old oil that I've got laying about. It's new, but it's cheap shit, because I just want to test that for the purposes of A, making sure we're getting oil to the top, but also when the engine's fitted back in, I want to run it up to temperature and then drain that oil out, and hopefully it'll bring all the shit and crud with it. So let me get that done off camera, fill that up with oil, get a power drill set up, and then we'll spin that over with the power drill. Back soon. Right, we've got some shonky old oil in it, and we've got a shonky old drill set up there. So we're going to turn that over in the hope that I will see oil come to the top of that camshaft. If it doesn't, we could be in trouble. And there it is, pissing out, absolutely wonderful. Not usually happy to see oil pissing out somewhere, but on this occasion, absolutely what I wanted to see. Good, good. Right, what's next? There's a few things we need to do. A lot of work on this before it ever thinks of going back in. Just run you through what we are going to do. We're going to paint up the rocker cover gasket because it looks a bit shonky. Get that on. We hopefully are going to remove this bracket here, this engine mount, because that's very, very cruddy. Clean that up and paint it. If I can't get it off, I'm not going to risk breaking it. I'll just try and paint it in situ. The starter motor is looking very, very cruddy, so I'd like to get that off if it'll come off, and clean that up. We're going to give the whole thing a general clean up. We're not going for restore here, we're just going to get the worst of the crud off. And the other thing we got to do is pull that side cover off, possibly paint it, but we'll see how it cleans up first. We want to do a proper job on the kickstart because we just sort of botched it, if you like. I'm going to check the rollers, probably put new rollers in, just check the whirligig, variator whirligig, I'll call it a whirligig. And we've also got to address these two broken studs here, which need flattening off, drilling through, that hold the air cleaner on. So yeah, lots to do before we can even consider putting that back in the bike. But for the time being, I'll turn the camera off. When I've decided which of those jobs I'm going to tackle next, we'll bring you back. Right, had to put my battery on charge, so I've done a couple of little bits off camera. Mainly I've fitted that valve cover. I was going to paint it, but do you know what, it's just, I'm not doing the rest of it, so it just wouldn't have looked right. I have painted this, what do you call this fucking thing, the air valve pipe, because that was a bit cruddy. I've also made a start on cleaning some of the crud off the engine. Again, all I'm going to do is just remove the worst of the crud. We're not going for a restore on this. So yeah, we made a start on that. Surprisingly enough, I hit this what do you call it, this nut and bolt here that holds the engine mount on with my impact, and it broke loose. That's really surprising. I thought that was going to seize or break or what have you, but no, it went. So we can now pull that out, and that's in surprisingly good condition. So there you go. Some things you take you by surprise, other things you don't expect to break, and they do. So that can come off for a paint. Okay, that gives me access to the starter motor and some of the bits and pieces. Yeah, so that alone, that shows when you open the seat bucket up, that's the first thing you see. So you know it would really benefit from a bit of a refurb. So we'll crack on with that off camera. What else? Not a lot really. I need a new gasket really for that whirligig cover, the variator cover. I don't think it's essential it has a gasket, but it looks a bit shitty because it's got bits missing. So yeah, we're making progress with this. I want to get it to the stage now where we pretty much put the whole thing together here on the bench. We'll put the all the shrouds on, the mounts, the covers, the fans, everything. Maybe even the wheel and the exhaust. So it would just be a case of sliding it under the bike, couple of bolts, connect some wires, and she's ready to fire up. But yeah, progress so far. Don't know if I'm going to do much else today. I have got a guy coming in to view the Zontes. We might finally be getting rid of it. I don't know. He does seem very interested, and he's travelling about 40 miles to view it. So that could well be gone today. For the time being, I'm going to end this here and now. We may or may not put the camera back on again today. We'll see how we feel. But for the time... yeah, I was going to do some more, but the heavens opened and I had to quickly put everything away. So there we go. Do you notice anything missing? Zontes. It's gone. Yep, just sold it to oh mate, I'm terrible with names. I'll edit this out and pretend I knew it, because I'm looking at my phone now to see what the guy's name was. Was it Sean? Mark. Why did I have Sean? Mark, yes, just sold it to a chap called Mark, lovely fella. He's riding it home all the way to Wisbeach, which is 40 odd mile, so yeah, be a good little test for the bike. But yeah, she's gone. Hope he gets many years service out of it. So we are going to call it a day. We're back to work tomorrow for another 4-day shift, and we will probably resume on with this Kymco, because I've got my teeth into this one now. Anyway guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and we'll catch you next time on Motorcycle Junkie. Cheers.